So what is a religion anyway? What does it mean for something to be a religion?
I suppose you can start by saying it's a belief system that people will try to find on their own or because of the masses, just so they can have a little bit of comfort of knowing what's going to happen when they pass.
I think there's two words I would focus in on what you've said there. Belief and know. Like, what does it mean to believe something and what does it mean to know something?
Those things are very different.
Yeah.
You gotta believe something to really... I don't know how to really describe this already.
Yeah.
I'm just getting in here trying to get my nerves out.
Yeah. No, this is definitely a warm-up. It's the way to jump into things. And I think people take a lot of things for granted when they talk about knowledge, when they talk about what they know. And they take a lot of things for granted when they talk about beliefs.
Yep.
And they say, well, you can believe this and I can believe that. But sometimes it's mutually exclusive and kind of ties into what is a religion. I think by a lot of definitions, modern political positions are more often religious in nature than they are anything else.
And I'd agree with that, and I think that might be part of the problem, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I really think religion or belief systems that personal need to stay personal.
Yeah.
When it gets to be like to a point of organized religion,
Sure.
It tends to get muddy and unclear what the goals are anymore. About why you believe in these things in the first place and where those beliefs take you.
But at a certain point, my personal beliefs will... When I believe something, I will act on those beliefs. And so my belief will change your life for the better or the worse just because I believe something. Mm-hmm. And maybe I know it to be true or maybe I don't. But where do you draw that line? Where do you say, hey, look, you can believe this, but you can't act on the beliefs? If I'm not allowed to act on the belief, what is even the point?
That's why, you got to keep it personal.
Yeah.
You can't really have any of your own belief systems when it comes to these deep belief systems infringe on others, because they're yours. That's why it's personal.
Yeah, but where does the infringement begin and end? Because I think people assume that the boundary between you and me is pretty clear cut because we have two physical bodies. But the things that I do affects the world that affects you, right? And so my beliefs change your life in a very, very real sense.
They absolutely do, because everything that ever happens starts as a thought.
Yeah.
And then we end up doing them and manifesting them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Everything is absolutely mental. And everything we do, starting with these thoughts, is going to make a ripple throughout space-time because of what we choose to do. And a lot of those things stem from our personal beliefs. And so it really gets into a matter of morals as well. And that gets pretty deep too.
Welcome to the show where we explore the who, what, where, how, and why of the extraordinary people who define our north of normal metro. I'm Conrad Fargo, and this is the Fargo Five. Today we have Collin Koslofsky, who is a local artist. And Collin, I want you to switch to the other mic. Can we try that? Because this one was having a buzz. See, I turned it on. Can you hear that in your mic? Do you hear?
I do hear the buzz.
I don't think that's no good. Can we try the other one? Now, the other one's got some tape holding it together. But let's see. No buzz. Ooh. See, I got that up and on. No, oh no, the camera. I'm coming. I'm
getting it out of the way. It's not so bad.
Okay, great. Live radio, baby!
Yeah, this is how we do it, guerrilla style. Punk, I love it.
All right. Can you handle that mic there? Is it in a position where you're comfortable and happy with it?
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Okay, because there's no buzz. That mic 3 has a really nasty buzz. So
this is a little cleaner for sure.
Yeah, okay, let's... So we did the cold open. I said who you are, Collin Koslofsky, local artist. Why don't you go ahead, let us tell us what that means, what it is that you do.
Well, art didn't really start out as art to me. I was just kind of doodling as I was making cold calls for little organizations and just telesales at this one job. It started at that, and then
Well, how do you get that?
Well, that was like way long ago. This is just like I have to give a little bit of background, otherwise the stuff I'm going to say isn't really going to make sense because it goes deep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just making doodles and I never thought anything of it, but I eventually got into painting because my mother actually was a very good artist.
Okay.
She wasn't very famous. She was very sick for most of her life, and then she passed at a very young age. But when she did pass, she gave me all of her art supplies, and she had a pile of it.
Yeah.
So I ended up kind of thinking, well, what am I going to do with all this? Like, I want to do something important because she gave this, like, all of these things to me. It was a mountain of stuff.
Yeah. When I paint the picture so I like to get the visual. So like when you say art supplies, are we talking like paint and brushes, or what does art mean, man? Like what is it? Like there's a lot of stuff.
Lots of paint. I'm still using paint 4 years later that belonged to her.
Okay.
Lots of brushes and so many canvases, like big canvases, like feet. Like 10 feet, 8 feet, 4x6, things like that, huge. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I have all these big things taken up my house. I got to do something with it.
Yeah.
So then it just kind of blossomed into, what do I want to put on this canvas? And from there, it got kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started thinking about like what other people would want to look at. And that was a style of art, I suppose. But then I've had lots of different phases through art. That one was just me trying to express myself, but also really trying to palletize it so the mass will kind of get what I'm saying. But I wasn't really good at it. I was just kind of trying to give myself the space to figure out how to do the thing, like painting.
Yeah.
I'm self-taught. I never went to...
So your whole background on the painting, like you were a doodler and you like to do stuff. Your mother was the big artist influence. When she passed, you inherited like an entire room full of art supplies.
Yeah.
And so you just started, you said to yourself, well, I might as well make use of these, and tried to make things that other people would like.
Yeah. I've always kind of had a business mentality.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to sell stuff, make stuff practical.
Yeah. We all like money.
Exactly.
Who doesn't want money? I like money.
Yeah, I mean, I love money. It's a nice lubricant.
Okay. Yeah,
it makes everything in life easy.
Yeah.
But so then
actually, I would. What I'd like to focus on is that early stage of it.
Sure.
So, you grieve for some time. Eventually, you just start making stuff, and then you're trying to sell it. What does that attempt to look like? Because you say, I want to make money on it. What did you even do? Like, if you've got a bunch of art sitting around the house, like, what are you doing to try to offload it? Like, who are you talking to? Where are you?
My first sale was a guy named Rich Will,
okay.
And I really hope he hears this because he made my first sale and he made it very important. He was just hanging out at my house, and I was working on my third painting ever. It was a painting of Audrey Hepburn. Very
of all things.
Yeah, it was just something I kind of always I kind of admired her beauty.
Yeah.
And it was like a classic beauty. So I kind of wanted to get into that, I guess, with painting, but it was only my third one.
Yeah.
But then my friend Rich came over and he saw it and he was like, I need to buy that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never had anybody ask me for that. And then...
How did you pick the price?
I was kind of dumbfounded, so I was just like, what would you say for it? And then he put out a pretty big price point, and I was like, okay. So he really set the tone for how my art sells, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Yeah.
Because I've had, I actually am very lucky as an artist because I do get to sell quite a bit of my art. I'd probably say in the range of 70% of the art that I make, I actually can sell.
What was his name?
His name is Rich Will.
And how did you know him? What was he doing hanging around with you?
He's a chef over at Blarney Stone, or I'm executive cook. I can't remember which one, but I'd still call him a chef.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always kind of just known him from the downtown scene. I made him quite a few drinks way back in the day. We both don't really drink anymore.
Okay.
So that's kind of a thing. We've always kind of just, hung around.
I don't know. So tell me more. So here's the cornerstone of the show. Both people who watch it and me don't leave the house.
I suppose.
So tell me more about the downtown scene, because it sounds like this guy is a linchpin on your whole launch. I can imagine how you know your mother. Right, like that's a little natural. But this mysterious benefactor who you used to drink with, tell me more about how that evolved.
It was back in the day. We don't really like to talk too much about our drinking days, but yeah, back then we were, for sure.
Yeah. What did you mean? Because you said that whole downtown scene. Is that like a bar hopping thing?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, because Fargo downtown is, you got the Blarney Stone, which is probably one of the more popular bars in the area. Like, it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. They've got the aquarium upstairs, and then you guys just love to go up and down the Strip. Like, tell me more about that scene. Like, to somebody who's never been in it, never seen it, what is the downtown scene? What is that?
I guess I've just been living in the downtown scene for at least 10 years, just bartending at all of the bars, and just kind of hanging around, drinking a whole bunch for a lot of those 10 years. But I really had to quit at some point, but we'll get into that maybe a little bit later. But yeah, I think we just maybe met for the first time playing pool at Rooters, maybe. It's just something like that. And then you see more of each other because Fargo's actually really tiny, especially in the microcosm of downtown.
Yeah.
You just, you see so many faces multiple times, you're going to say hi eventually.
It's a big, so the whole metro is like 250,000. It's kind of a big area, but it is small. It has so many small pockets, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and so it's just the scene. So if you're hanging out at Rooters and doing karaoke every Monday and or whatever day they do it, and you're going to Blarney Stone on whatever, and you're just hanging around, see the same people over and over again. This was a guy.
Yeah.
He was in your orbit.
He was a really big karaoke guy, too, and I think he still might be.
Does he know Carl Nyberg? I know Nyberg was a big karaoke guy.
I believe so.
Yeah. The Rooters karaoke is pretty legendary.
Yeah.
And so, anyhow, so I do know a little bit of the scene, but it's nice to paint the picture. So he came over to your house?
Yeah, at the time. I'm honestly not sure why. I'm sure we were imbibed.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I just remember that moment, and I'll never forget it because he just offered me a pretty decent amount of money for it, and it floored me.
Yeah.
And I felt very humbled, but at the same time, it kind of, like I said, set the tone for how much I kind of felt that my art should be worth.
Yeah, yeah. And so you said to yourself, well, because before you were just kind of making use of your inheritance, such as it was. And now, because of this gentleman, you say to yourself, well, maybe there's a little bit of a chance.
Exactly.
Right? Now it's real.
Yeah.
Now it's, so I work with a lot of small businesses, and they always have these big plans. They're always like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this, and look at all this marketing I plan on doing, and oh, I spent all this money on a logo, and I've got this big plan, and it's like, has anybody ever given you money ever before? And they're like, well, no, but we're going to launch, and maybe a few. And I'm like, how about you just get one person to give you money and then we can plan, right? So I think, getting another human being to just give you money at all is the hard part,
Yep, it's very hard to separate people from their money, at least so you can get your own.
And so then you got the money in your hand, and now it's real.
Yeah.
Now it's a real thing. And so where does it go from there?
Well, and I started working on a fourth piece, and that ended up actually getting purchased by the place that I worked at the time, which was Toasted Frog. And, actually, it's not really purchased, actually. I ended up getting it back, so now it was considered, I rented it to them for the entire for the entirety that it was there.
Yeah.
That was a few years. But yeah, that was... I look back on that painting and it wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
I actually covered it up, and that was the last piece that I finished for this new art show that's coming up on October 30th.
Yeah.
So it's still there in spirit, but it's not anymore. It's a completely different thing. And that's a big concept in my art show is transformation.
Yeah. So how long is this arc? So it starts with your very first sale, and that was how long ago?
2021, I'd probably say.
Yeah. And so over the last 4 years, you've been kind of establishing yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you, so you reached out to me, I don't know, did we say it on air? I'm a little discombobulated today. The reason I know you is you were on so I do a lot with small businesses because I do SBDC. I own a bookkeeping company with my wife. I'm always in touch with small businesses. You were inquiring as to a bookkeeper, I believe.
Yeah, I think I was looking for an accountant for
when was that?
Like a non-alcoholic cocktail mobile bar thing is what I was thinking.
Where does that
doing.
fit into this? Because that's got to be in the last 4 years as well, right?
Yeah, so I definitely had an issue with drinking during the beginning phases of my art career, and I definitely was erratic with my painting. It was pretty violent and just kind of weird and crazy.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
Oh, slashing paint everywhere and like throwing it all around.
And we don't like that anymore?
Eating it and regurgitating it, that kind of thing. You know, it's like a phase that I kind of feel like every true artist really does go through, because they kind of like, once you get that sale, you know, it becomes real. And so it really becomes like a part of you, and you kind of start to get this idea like, oh, I'm a real true artist. And if I really am a true artist, I have to feel it.
Okay.
And it just kind of gets more intense from there, but I've calmed down quite a bit since then.
So that was a phase.
It was a phase.
How many, I don't want to call you out, but like in a 4-year span, now that you're a real artist, like how many of your pieces, like what's the scale that it's at? How many would you say that you've been able to make a sale on so far?
Oh my gosh. Well, my first art show was all on grief, and I sold about 80% of those, and I had about 32 pieces, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not even sure to be honest, but
Yeah.
Just a few months later, I kind of had a little appendage show that was still kind of a part of the first one. That was called Monsters in Mycology, and that was just more of like a Halloween fun show kind of thing. I forgot where we were. Sorry.
Yeah, just kind of asking about the arc of selling everything.
Yeah, okay, so after I got done with those two shows, I had to put down alcohol pretty abruptly. I just kind of messed up a few things in my life, and I had to get it back. And so
Let's take a second and be a little real there. Had a panic attack.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a high functioning guy. I do a lot of stuff, but I just felt like I couldn't breathe for like, and I've felt that way before in the show. And I've got illness running around my family. I got 3 kids, so it's 6, 4, and 1.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's enough to do it for me, if you ask me.
I'm probably fighting a cold, but whatever it is, felt like I couldn't breathe and didn't want to pass out.
Totally understand. I get panic attacks too, and it's no harm, no done. And I'm just happy to see you standing right now.
What an abrupt and a strange thing to happen in the show, but you know it's real, it's live.
It's life. That's it.
I think a lot of people struggle with anxiety, and they think they're the only ones.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how common it is and how manageable it is. But sometimes you can't, and you just gotta push the intermission button and away we go.
And I think being transparent like you were just doing is actually a really amazing thing. Like you said, it really brings more awareness to the thing like, oh, this is actually happening to me, and this is a person that's on the air. Somebody that's listening is like, oh my gosh, if it happens to him, it happens to me. It makes me feel okay.
Well, and it's the craziest thing. I mean, your mind, and I explain it like this. When you die, it's almost certainly going to be terrifying. It'll feel like the panic attack that finally kills you.
I kind of disagree, but we'll get into that.
Well, no, I mean, tell me about because this is the thing. Like, it's like, oh, it's all in your head. Yeah, it's all in my head that I'm dying. Like the reason a panic attack is so terrible is because your body and brain are saying, "Are we dying?" And so it literally puts off every alarm bell. And a panic attack is just a false alarm kind of a thing. And I think people, they don't realize that, like, it doesn't have to be connected, because a lot of people believe they have Lyme's disease or this or that or the other. And I'm not saying nobody has Lyme disease, but I'm saying, like, a lot of psychosomatic and anxiety things just are just in your head.
Well, yeah, it
like,
comes from the belief system and, the placebo effect. If you believe it, it must be happening. And so your body is convinced by that if you believe it. And so that's why a panic attack can feel so real, even though nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
But, it's just that survival mode. You can't be connected with your third eye, like your true self, while you are in survival mode. And so many people are in survival mode almost 100% of the time these days. And that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's just one way to think of something.
Who's not in, what is there besides surviving? What do you mean by that? I mean,
our body always is in survival mode, basically. But, okay. Part of the art show is going, it has a big tie to my own spirituality, and I'm going to get into that. And I don't mean for anybody else to believe it if you don't want to. This is just my own personal stuff. I'm just going to preface that.
Yeah.
But I believe in a thing called basically pantheism.
Yeah.
So kind of everything has a little bit of consciousness and varying in degree.
Sure.
And so that kind of makes everything God, including you and I.
Sure.
And the thoughts that we make, those come from something. Thoughts are a thing. You can make a thought, but where is that thought? It doesn't really exist anywhere except for in, like, the quantum realm. And so that kind of tells me that our brain and our bodies are connected, but our soul is a little bit of a different thing. So when our bodies die and pass on, our soul can still exist because we have these thoughts. The thoughts don't necessarily need the body because the thoughts came first. Everything is mental. The universe was created by a thought.
Okay.
Everything happens because a thought has to happen first.
And how do you know this?
Well, can you think of any examples to argue it? Because I would love anybody to come at me about that. Because I really enjoy debating about things, and the more I debate, the more I learn things. This is just where I'm at in my own learning journey. So what I would say and how I know that is I've read a few ancient knowledge books, like esoteric things. There's this book called The Kabbalion, which started, it's by the Three Initiates. And they are speaking on these 7 universal laws. And the first one is mentalism. Everything comes from a thought. The thought has to come first. Because the thought waves going through the air, once they get thought, they ripple out and they can end up turning into physical things through us, as we are the humans that are those channels to make things come about. But it took a very long time for the universe to get to that point because, honestly, the universe just wanted to experience things. And so it took quite a long time from humans' perspective to get to the point where we can feel all the things through our senses, like touch, sight, taste, all these other things. There's actually quite a few more senses than the ones that we just think, like 7, 6. There's a lot more.
Where's this all coming from? There's an ancient book?
Just one little ancient book, but there's quite a few that all go on to this kind of spiritualism. Hermes Trismegistus was this figure way back in the day, like at the beginning of time kind of thing. Like, a lot of people would say that he was the god of writing. He invented it. And so he had a few things to say. And I kind of almost believe that he might have been the first person that had a thought, the first human to have a thought and articulated it into a way that can be communicated.
And when was that?
Oh, God, like 500 BC or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't believe there were thinking humans 6,000 years ago?
I mean, it could have been. I'm sure it probably was that. I'm really bad with numbers.
Okay.
Okay. The ancient god in Egypt, Thoth, if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
A lot of people get him mixed up with him. They could have been the same guy. Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology kind of come together, but they still kind of keep things different. One is Hermes, one is Thoth. And just following the things that they wrote about.
Okay.
And I believe that a lot of those things were the things that Jesus Christ was learning about himself and trying to teach the world.
Well, so it's very clear that you have a coherent worldview. Like it's of one piece, and it's something you believe. When did this belief system begin? When did the reading and putting that all together begin? Like, where was that?
Well, I had to quit alcohol because I was destroying my life. And I was drinking so hard because I was grieving my mother and still trying to express myself through the art and trying to figure out how to do that. Yeah. So I put down the alcohol and I got really healthy. I got really into just health. I was eating like fantastic food. Everything is whole food and, made from me, not going out or anything. I was working out a whole bunch and I was reading. I hadn't really read a whole bunch in the years before that. Okay. I just got into some really interesting ancient knowledge books, and I started reading them, and I just kind of had a big epiphany when I was reading the Kybalion. It's a really small book, and it just says about 7 laws, but it's all I need to believe everything.
So we got a couple chapters here. The first chapter, Mother passes. You pick up her tools and begin to create as she created. That turns into real money. I still kind of wanted to nail down, just to give a sense of scale, because I'm a numbers person, and it helps me to... You're selling most of your art. Can you share, what's the price point?
Let's see.
Is it hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands?
Only hundreds.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer on
I guess thousands
scale.
too, because I am trying to break the $2,000 mark.
Yeah.
I haven't broken that.
No,
but cool.
That helps give a good sense. And you brought how many to your first art show on Grief?
My first one had about 32 to 35 pieces, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So you're selling upwards of 20, 25 pieces for hundreds of dollars. Mm-hmm. You're clearing $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 from that first show alone.
It was really nice. I have the best friends in the world.
It's very validating.
Yeah.
Right? To say, well, the thing that I'm creating here has worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, and correct me if this isn't how you would phrase it or articulate it, but you kind of started to spiral up your own rear end saying, well, now I'm a real artist.
Yeah, that is
right?
exactly
and so
how
then
it
you
works.
start spitting all over, and the drinking gets worse.
Yeah.
Because you say to yourself, the drinking makes me feel things, and feeling things
100%
makes the art real. So let's make real and good and strong art.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
At what point did the drinking stop? And how did that? I really want to, because I wanted to paint the picture of you're hanging out with these downtown people, and then one of them comes back, to your place, and he's like, "I'll buy that," and that kind of sets you off, right? What was the event, or how did you conceive of the idea? Were you always thinking, I gotta quit drinking so much, or was there something that really planted that thought inside of your mind?
I was definitely thinking for a long time I need to quit drinking so much. I was just kind of wondering when it was going to happen, when I was actually going to touch my toes on that rock bottom. But I just ended up pushing a friend away pretty hard because of one night of drinking. Yeah. I haven't talked to the person since, and it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, after I realized that I was pushing people away like that, I was like, I can't do this. I love my friends. I can't do this. I can't put this on them. It's starting. My problem was starting to encroach on others, and I couldn't handle that.
Yeah. So, but at one point, you were like, okay, this is it. Were there many false starts, or just you decided, I'm done drinking, and you were done? How did that?
I had lots of false starts because I was beating myself up a lot, not mentally, but physically. I would come home with bruises or cuts on my face, or
from what?
Just falling down when I was blackout drunk. or trying to climb in my window because I couldn't find my keys or something. Like, I was just very violent to myself when I was drunk. Yeah, I didn't mean to be, but I was just, well, sometimes I did.
It really is a thing, blackout drunk.
Yeah, not even myself. You don't?
I just don't believe. I've never experienced anything like it, and whenever I get to that level of drunkenness, I puke. How do you not puke? How do you get so drunk without puking? Like, I just
push through it, and it's
like
not
you
a
puke
good
and
thing.
then you keep going.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
I've never. So puking means it's time to go to bed for me. So yeah, there must just be.
There's an alcoholic point to that where it's just
I was a heavy drinker at a time. I was, and I was going 10, 11 drinks a day, but more than that, like, what's the level? Like, when is it to that level, that scale?
It's drinking it was easy to drink a bottle of Jameson.
A whole bottle. It
was easy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Man, that stuff wasn't good. But, I ended up, I've always had this thought in the back of my head that I always really wanted to be really healthy. And I was just kind of allowing myself this room to grieve and be sad so I could feel a little bit more okay about how my mother died, because, like I said, she was sick for most of my life and quite a bit of hers, obviously.
Tell me more about your mother's illness.
She was schizophrenic and psychotic.
I see.
From the age that I was 12, there was a day where she was just one day not my mother anymore. It was day and night. It was crazy.
Was your father in the picture at all? Or?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And he stayed throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So my dad's very admirable. I love my father.
But that had to be hard.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, sticking by that with all the crazy things that she said and believed, that, it was just a crazy thing growing up in that environment. And so I had to, like, when I kind of left high school and, graduated high school, I guess, I moved out and I had to go kind of figure out life on my own. I kind of figured, like, I had to go relearn a lot of stuff, and no fault of my parents, because we had to deal with this illness, which was none of our faults, especially not my mother's. But we all had to deal with it regardless, and we all had to kind of relearn our life of quite a few times.
Interesting. No fault, especially not my mother's.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting sentiment, and I'll bet it's tied into your belief system somehow.
Sure is.
Yeah. I wrestle with that a lot. I wrestle with what can we blame people for when people consistently make choices that hurt us.
And to me, what I always say back to things like that is, if they knew better, they would be better. It's ignorance, complete ignorance. So yeah. I kind of feel like there is no such thing as malice within humans.
Yeah.
As long as we connect with a third eye. But a lot of times you can't, because everybody's in survival mode.
Yeah.
So morals kind of go out the window, and we're all just trying to protect ourselves.
But if they act in such a way that is consistent with malice, whether they intend to or not, does it matter? Like,
That's a big question.
What does it matter if they don't stop hurting you and they don't stop acting that way, whether it's in their control or not? You have to act as if.
Well, you got to wonder why.
I think so much. I don't know that it matters.
I mean, you got to wonder why these people do the things that they do. Like, why do they hurt people? I mean, look at
I think so. I used to believe as you do in that regards. And if what you say is true, then when we have an offender of any stripe, what we should do is see the actions that they've done, figure out why, and rehabilitate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that rehabilitation of all human. I don't think every human is capable of being a good person.
I don't believe that either. No, you're right.
It's like, some people are just in some ways they are fundamentally damaged, broken, defective, or whatever, and the only way to judge that from the outside, right? Like I don't know why I do the things I do half the time. I'm going to sit here and try to judge why other people's. I can't, right? All I can do is observe their behavior and the patterns of their behavior, and then act accordingly. And if somebody consistently acts in a way that hurts me, then I cannot and should not spend time or energy rehabilitating them.
Agreed.
You just cut them out or put them at a chain so they can't hurt you anymore.
One of the biggest things is you have to respect yourself, and if you're going to allow somebody to hurt you that much, you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
So you do absolutely have to keep that in mind. It's kind of like a tough love thing.
Yeah.
But like, why would anybody cause pain? It doesn't make people feel good to cause pain to other people, you know? Otherwise, I mean,
some people it does.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at some of the horror stories of some of the serial killers, yeah obviously. But how did that? How did those belief systems end up happening in the first place?
Yeah, and that's
usually because of trauma.
I don't think that a serial killer has a bad belief system, and therefore, I think that they are fundamentally broken
Because of trauma.
Yeah. So I think it's a nature versus nurture thing. And so I think you would probably come heavily on the nurture side.
Heavily, because I believe that every innate human being is actually good. But not everybody knows how to connect with their inner self. And that's the biggest problem in today's world, not just today's society. They're not even themselves. Most people are just walking around just like lemmings. They're not even themselves. They have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Buddha and Carl Jung have also said it's one of the hardest, biggest jobs of your entire life is getting to know yourself, and you'll never be able to fully know it.
Well, and there's that word knowledge again.
Yeah.
And so, I'm a big fan postmodernism. I heavily disagree with the postmodernists. And so like postmodern epistemology is one of the cornerstones of my understanding of life and change the way I see and act in every single way about everything I do, right? Like an epistemology is a theory of knowledge. How do you know things? And the postmodern insight is to say, okay, you know this? Yeah, but how do you know that? But how do you know that? And how do you know that? Mm-hmm. And in reality, it just turtles all the way down, and we don't know anything, man. Which I'm on board with. Okay, like we don't like knowledge is impossible.
That's where we get into the belief thing.
But it doesn't mean that because I don't know doesn't mean that all possible scenarios are equally likely.
Do you absolutely have to know something to believe it?
No. But what I'm trying to say is that just because I don't know doesn't mean that each belief system is equally likely.
Of course.
There's one that is more likely than the other. And there are ways we have of determining likelihood.
Well, here's an idea of looking at it. I mean, according to quantum physics, we have a thought, and then it gets manifested. It happens in that order. So we are literally creating the universe as we are existing. And so if you are a negative thinking person, oh my gosh, this is going to happen to me, and this happens to me all the time, it's going to happen. And if you start thinking more positively, like I am in abundance, I have all these things, and maybe you don't in real life, but if you start thinking that way, those things will come to you. It really does happen that way. I totally believe it. It's happened to me. And it's the thing about, like, when I was quitting drinking, I stopped having all those negative thoughts about everything. When I was hungover, I was anxious and thinking how depressed I was and all that. As soon as I stopped that, I started thinking really, really positively. And then way better things started happening in my life. It was pretty clear and simple. And so if I'm trying to connect it back to what we were just saying.
Well, so you had... Yeah, I mean, what you're trying to say is that you're trying to express, manifestation of reality by saying if you think positive thoughts, you're going to create a positive reality.
Yeah, so when
I don't disagree that being positive creates better outcomes.
So when you say that, like, one belief system is going to be more likely than the other, we're all kind of making our own.
Yeah.
Because we believe it. So that's what I mean. It really can't be organized between two people.
Well, I guess the real question is...
It's got to be that personal, like it's just us. Like,
just because I can't know the truth doesn't mean there isn't a truth. And I suppose it comes down to that. Yeah. I believe that there is one single solitary truth that is outside of us.
Do you think you'll ever get to that truth?
I believe I get close to it.
Yeah,
by interacting with reality.
It's kind of like getting to the speed of light. You'll never actually get to it, but you'll get dang close.
But it is outside of me and beyond my discretion.
Yeah.
So I can't.
So what do you
choose.
do then?
I try to figure out what the real truth is, and it really doesn't matter. So somebody you might like, and I drop the name a lot, is Donald Hoffman.
Okay.
He is a evolutionary psychologist and a computer guy, and he did some kind of a model, and he was able to demonstrate that the most fit model to be selected for, so like in terms of evolution, is not one that, if I'm representing it correctly, is not one that accurately observes reality at all. In fact, the fittest model will not observe, will see reality the least. Mm-hmm. And the way he explains that is like, think about a computer screen, and you've got a file, and you click it, and you drag it over to the trash bin, and you drop it in. That trash bin doesn't exist. That file doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's a hologram. It's a projection. What's really happening is ones and zeros. But you're not interacting with the ones and zeros. And in fact, if you were to try to interact with those ones and zeros, it wouldn't work for you, because you can't sit and type in binary as fast as you can just click and drag a thing. And so our interaction with reality is kind of like that. We're using facsimiles that allow us to kind of get a good advantage situation for ourselves based on reality, but we're not directly observing it. Does that kind of make sense?
Well, it has to do with a lot of perception as well, because, we only have so many senses.
Yeah.
And that is the experience that we get programmed through our senses. But if we had more senses, we could be able to see more, like infrared or things like that. There is a whole other world that is going on if we had more senses, but we just don't have those evolved yet. But, if we were to be able to perceive the fourth dimension, things would look very differently. We would be able to see our past and present selves, because all time is just happening right now.
Sure.
There is only the present. There is no future. There is no past. There is just the present, ever.
It's like a big undulating snake.
Yeah. And it's really hard to kind of wrap your head around that. But if you were to imagine Super Mario in like the original one, where it's just the 2D land and you can only walk in a straight line and jump, how would they be able to perceive us as three-dimensional beings that can walk in more than just frontwards and backwards and up and down?
Absolutely. So
it's kind of like us. So how would we be able to perceive the fourth dimension?
So we've got like 7 minutes left.
We barely talked about art. I love it.
And I know you wanted to so just to complete the arc, chapter 1, you lose your mother, you pick up her tools, you start making your own art. Somebody gives you your first commission. You follow that thread. It actually leads you to self-destruction through drinking. You quit the drinking. You get healthier. You pick up these books where you learn all the things that we've been talking about. You begin to discover your third eye and build a belief system, a coherent worldview. And you start doing better, cleaner art.
Very much so.
And how many art shows are you doing? Like, how often are they coming up over these years?
Well, I did the first 2 in the first year, and this is 3 years later. So this is my third one.
Oh, wow.
In 3 years.
Yeah. So you're making art the whole time. Are you still selling it? Like, what's your number one venue for sales? Like,
I've sold a few just through commissions. Like I actually paint a lot of memorials for dead people. Actually,
oh wow,
it's kind of a hard job. I don't enjoy it very much, but at the same time, it's very honoring.
Sure.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
That's not what I enjoy doing a whole lot. I really like just expressing myself. And with this new spirituality that I found, I never thought I was going to be spiritual. I thought I was just going to be an atheist for my whole life.
Yeah.
I really felt something to express. And, oh my gosh, I have this painting thing. That's crazy. Things just met right at the right time.
Yeah.
And now this show that I'm putting on is my spirituality through a kind of dark perspective on how just everything is through my viewpoint, but it's also, there's a lot of nature involved in it, and a lot of just transformation on life and death, and so there's going to be a lot of skulls. You're going to see a lot of bones in my art show.
Wow.
So many.
Is this your first art show since getting sober?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my big one.
Yeah.
My serious one.
How many pieces are you bringing to the table?
I advertised it as only about like 50 or so.
Okay.
But I've actually got closer to 100 now.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
I've got 35-ish or so big paintings,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them are like drawings. But I also have a lot of merchandise, like T-shirts I've made and spell necklaces.
Yeah, you brought me a shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to show me the shirt? Is it a medium?
Yeah.
Or a large? Or what size did you bring me?
Well, this is, I think I got you a large, but I'm also wearing the shirt. And I got the little fake pocket here, and then the thing on the back.
Entropy in Bloom.
That is the name of the show, the whole thing. It's Entropy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you can't really stop entropy.
Nope.
It's just time as a predator just consuming
second law of
everything.
thermodynamics, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then, this is
Okay, very cool.
just the shirt, whatever. But, I got a lot of stuff going on here. There's going to be moon water that I've charged on 2 separate occasions during the full moon.
Moon water?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
You just get some distilled water or mineral water, and you just put it in some kind of vessel, and you let the full moon, charge it, just letting it sit out underneath the full moon. And I did it twice, so it's a very powerful moon water.
And what do you do with the moon water?
What do
you do with it?
You can do a lot of things. Since this is distilled water, I probably wouldn't recommend drinking it. You can, but distilled water isn't really good for drinking. It's more or less like you have to put your intentions or your thoughts into something for it to kind of manifest. We talked about that. And so this is kind of one of those things. If you just make an intention and a thought, like a goal with your moon water, you can anoint yourself with it, and it makes those thought waves or those intention waves stronger so that the manifestation could help it along a little bit easier.
Okay. All right. And that'll be for sale at the show.
Absolutely. And they're very cheap.
Yeah. So let's, we've got maybe 3 more minutes before the plug here. I want to paint the picture of the show. Like, where is it? What should you imagine when you get there? Like, tell me, like, from parking. So where's parking? Like, where is it and what's parking like? Like, from there.
There's a parking lot right across the street.
Where is it at?
It's going to be held at the 4 and 4, which is right above Side Street Grill and Pub here in Fargo.
So it's downtown.
Yep, at the intersection of 4th Street and 4th Avenue. It's
Isn't that right
404.
by the cop shop there?
It used to be a cop shop, but now it's a downtown harm reduction center, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool.
But again, the Civic Center is nearby, right?
Very.
Like, it's very nearby?
Yeah, kitty corner, or actually right across the street, the other direction.
Okay, and so you park, wherever they've got that parking garage right there, or you park on the street.
Yep.
And then you walk in off the street. And
Yeah.
how big of a space is it that we're walking into?
You walk in off the street, and then there's going to be the bar downstairs, which is Side Street. But there's going to be a big sign that says Entropy in Bloom with my iconic fox head.
Yeah.
And
That's what that is.
That's going to be just telling you to go upstairs where the event is. There's a little like event area. It's kind of like for shows or weddings. But yeah, you're going to go walk upstairs, and you're going to see a bunch of paintings and hopefully a bunch of people that are all just kind of looking at my stuff.
So it's almost like an art exhibit if you wanted to just go look.
Yeah.
Does it cost money to get in?
No, it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a suggested donation, but if you want to just pass by, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to show people, honestly.
Do you have other people on hand, or is it just you showing off?
It's just me. It's a solo art gala, and it's not just about the paintings. I have a whole bunch of essays that are attached to each painting.
Oh, wow.
And they all tie into what we've been talking about this whole time, the spirituality and my belief system.
Wow.
And so because I am so moved by this belief system, I can't keep it to myself. I have to go tell people about it. I only want to tell people about it. I don't need anybody to join me because, again, it's personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would just love to share it with my friends and the people. So,
Well, I think everything we do is sharing in our belief systems.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Right?
I think there's a responsibility to do so.
Yeah.
If you just keep everything to yourself and like brand new, like amazing ideas and knowledge, you keep it to yourself. That's pretty selfish.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, and then when is this?
The day before Halloween, October 30th.
And it's very skulls and spooky and whatnot. Is it all ages welcome? Like if I wanted to bring the whole family just to look at the art, like honestly, like tell me honestly.
You can.
If I wanted to come by, but you'd prefer serious people only?
You can definitely bring the family. There are a few pieces that hopefully the kids won't understand. Because there are a few elements that could be looked at as almost satanic, but it's not. You just have to also get close and read my essays to realize how it's not.
Yeah.
But there's also a big thing about fear and all of that that's tied into why we fear the things that we do fear and why we shouldn't. It's just a part of life. And so don't just look at my paintings. Definitely read the essays that go along with it. That's the main important thing. But please enjoy my art too.
All right. Well, that sounds really cool. It sounds great on theme. I can think of a handful of people I might want to share that with who might enjoy just coming out just to see it. I think you bill it as an art exhibit. You might get more people through the door and make more sales. I don't know, but there's my marketing mind at play.
Well, I mean, it is kind of marketed as an art exhibit, but it's really like I call it an art gala because it's more like a party because it's only one day.
Yeah,
I'm not associated with any gallery. I'm just putting it up all myself, and so it's I don't know. Calling it an exhibit is kind of almost too professional for me. I really like the guerrilla side of doing things,
Gorilla, and that's gorilla with a U, not banana eating.
Correct.
But
do it yourself.
Yeah. All right, why don't you plug yourself, and then we'll get out of here. If people want to get a hold of you, people want to find you on the interwebs or however, how should they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook at Collin Andrew Koslofsky. Gosh, I can't even know. I don't even know my plugs right now. Hang on a second. So silly.
No,
I try to get away from my phone as much as possible, and so it's hard for me to remember all my socials. Social media marketing is incredibly hard for me. But so you can find me on Instagram at collinandrew.k. Just definitely find me on Facebook. That's where I post literally everything. It's Collin Andrew Koslofsky. Collin Andrew Koslofsky.
Yeah, and just be a friend on Facebook.
Yeah, that's it. Just be my friend, because this is really what it is all about anyway. Just come meet me and let's talk about spiritual stuff. It's going to be cool.
Sounds great. Of course, I'm Conrad Fargo. You can find me anywhere you type Conrad and Fargo, I pop up. That's me. I'm Conrad Fargo. Have you ever? There's one place I like to send people. Kind of a indie. Have you ever heard of Amazon.com?
Oh yeah.
If you type in Conrad and Fargo, the show is right there. It's right there. You can listen to it. Amazon's got its own music. It's the thing. But however you find us, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes Music, we're there. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we are going to get out of here with some Donovan, Season of the Witch. We didn't even discuss why that song. What's any specific reason for that song?
Well, there's a tie between the spirituality and witchiness.
Yeah.
There's just a big tie. So I do believe it is the spirit of the witch, and that's when our spirits get all kind of lifted and vibrating a little bit higher than normal.
Awesome. Well, I love Donovan. Donovan's great. He's got a lot of hits that really slap. So thank you for bringing that music into the room. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.